Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today on our 2014 Jeep Wrangler, we're going to be showing you how to install the etrailer.com Class 3 trailer hitch receiver. But before we do that, why don't we check it out and make sure that this is the right one for you. When it comes to putting a hitch on your Wrangler, there's quite a few different options, and I feel like what one is going to be best for you is really just going to depend on a couple things. Really what you plan on doing with your Jeep, how do you use your Jeep, and which one you think looks the best. So there's a few different options available, and they're all pretty similar for the most part, but one of the main difference between all of them is the length of the receiver tube opening here. So you can see this one comes out a little ways past our bumper, and there's other ones that sit flush with the bumper and some that come way out. And with this one, I feel like it's a good happy medium, kind of a good all-around type deal. But with that said, they're all kind of purpose-built, and which one you decide to go with is going to be how you use your Jeep, like I said. So those flush-mounted ones are probably going to be best if you actually do some off-roading and things like that. And I say it because they're going to give you the most clearance when you're climbing hills and everything else, or even going down for that matter. So that would probably pique your interest the most. Now that doesn't mean you can't use it for other things. If you like the way it looks, that's perfectly fine too. This one, kind of that being, that happy medium, comes out a little ways. This will work great for towing, occasional, if you do go off-roading, it's not stealing a ton of clearance from you. And since it does come out a little bit, it's going to really help with those folding type accessories as well. As you all know, having a big spare tire back here, you're kind of limited on clearance, so that'll help you there. Now, if you really plan on primarily just using accessories and don't really plan on going, off the pavement and things like that, the other ones that come way out might be a good choice. Or if you have a huge spare tire, having that extra clearance is going to really help let you put them things in that upright position and not have to worry about it hitting your tire. With this hitch being a Class 3, it is going to have that 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening, super common size, and a lot of different accessories will work with it. It is going to have a reinforced collar there at the end for a little bit of extra support, and it is going to use that standard 5/8 pin and clip. Keep in mind though, pin and clip does not come included. If you need one, not a huge deal, you can grab it here at etrailer. You are going to have some plate style safety chain openings, and they sit back a little ways and should provide us with enough space to use just about any size hook that we might have. As far as the hitch's weight capacities go, it's going to have a 350-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating. So that's going to be the amount of weight that's pushing down on the hitch. So relatively high number. You should be able to use most cargo carriers and bike racks without any issues there. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, that's going to be 3,500 pounds. And that's going to be the amount of weight that is pulling on the hitch. So that is the weight of the trailer plus anything that you might have on it. This can be used with a weight distribution system, which is a separate component. And what happens is whenever you use that, it's going to help keep your trailer and your Jeep nice and level whenever you're pulling it down the road. With that said, if you use that weight distribution system, the weight capacities do go up a little bit. Tongue weight rating will go up to 400 pounds, and trailer weight rating will be increased to 4,000 pounds. I do always like to recommend though, it's never a bad idea just to grab your Wrangler's owner's manual. That way you can make sure your Jeep can pull that much weight safely. And with all that in mind, if you're pulling a trailer, you are going to want the lights to work on it. That way people around you know what's going on, and you'll be safe and legal. And to accomplish that, you can always just grab some trailer wiring. Now let's just go ahead, grab a couple of measurements. That way we can try to figure out which hitch-mounted accessories will work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be about 19.5 inches. So if you plan on pulling a trailer, chances are pretty good you can use a ball mount that has a slight drop in the shank. Keep in mind too, these measurements are based off this particular Jeep. You know, if you have a different tire size or lift kit or anything like that, it's obviously going to affect it. But we'll go from our bumper to the center of the hitch pin hole. That looks like it's only going to be about 1.5 inches. And then if we go from the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of our tire, that looks like it's going to be about 7.5 inches. And you can use those measurements to help figure out that if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in that upright position. Again, this measurement holds true with the tire that we have on our Jeep, and it is a 255/75/17. One of the things I am fond of as far as this hitch goes is the finish on it. It has a matte black carbide finish, and it does a really good job of actually kind of blending in with the bumper. It's kind of got the same texture and the same look to it, so I think aesthetically, you know, it's pleasing. And from my experience as well, these just kind of hold up to rock chips and scratches, things like that a little bit better. So it should stay in decent shape a little bit longer than some of the other ones. But at the end of the day, it's really just gonna come down to you and your personal preference. I feel like this one is kind of that good all-around hitch that'll work for a little bit of everything. Now, as far as the installation goes, really not bad at all. There's 4 holes here behind the bumper. Essentially, you just put the hitch up, put your hardware through, and tighten it down. So really shouldn't take up a lot of your time at all or give you too many issues. But speaking of that, why don't we go ahead and pull into the garage and put it on together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here at the back of our Jeep, working underneath it. And the first thing that we're going to need to do is locate our attachment points that we're going to use to secure the hitch. So we're going to have a total of 4 attachment points on this back beam here. We're going to have an attachment point there, there, and there. And now that we identified them, what we can do is grab our hardware and make sure that it fits in there properly, and that way everything will go together smoothly. So what we want to do is check all 4 of these holes. So you want to take your bolt, so you got a bolt and a flat washer, and you just want to push it through the hole and make sure it goes through pretty smoothly, and this one does. And the reason for that is I've ran into in the past where you try to push these through and the holes aren't perfectly centered and the bolt kind of wants to get hung up, and it makes it kind of difficult. So check all those. If you do get kind of hung up or one wants to fight you a little bit, you can always come in here with a file or a drill bit and just kind of, you know, clean that hole up a little bit, and that'll really go a long way when you're trying to get your bolt through there. With that done, now we can grab our hitch, line that on up. Then we're just going to take that hardware we talked about and get it started. So now we can get our flange nuts on the other end of the bolt, so you can pull the bolt back just a little bit. And it's so tight in there, it's kind of tricky to get to. What I like to do is just take the the nut, put it in the end of a wrench, then just take a piece of tape and essentially just kind of tape the top of the nut to the wrench. And then makes it a lot easier to slide this up into place, line up our bolt with it. We'll get that going hand tight. Then you can just pull your wrench off and do that same thing with that same hardware for our 3 remaining attachment points. Now we can go ahead, grab a 3/4 or 19 millimeter wrench. We'll use 2 of them here, and we'll simply just tighten down all the hardware. Now we can go ahead, come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all the hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can always grab one here at eTrailer, or a lot of times you go to your local auto parts store and they'll have one there available to rent. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the etrailer.com trailer hitch receiver on our 2014 Jeep Wrangler.